Hi, welcome to my latest video. I haven't done a video in a while. I thought I'd just make a video about why I like my modular synthesizer so much. I recently started putting together a modular synthesizer. For the longest time, I was pretty skeptical of the benefits of a modular system. But thanks to conversations with my good friend Shawn who makes music with Letter Est and also under a bunch of other names, and he's put out stuff on Lies Records, and you should check it out because his stuff is really good. And he's a modular user, and I really respect his opinions. He convinced me to give it a shot, and he made the logic of a modular system make sense to me. Because before that, it seemed needlessly complex, and the results weren't that impressive. So I just started. This is a very simple system. One oscillator, made by Tip Top. It's the Z3000. I really like this because you have a readout with which can have actual notes or pitches in hertz. So that's very useful for tuning. The next module is by IntelliGel, and it is 4 attack and decay envelopes, and they have linear and exponential or whatever. It has 2 curve types, and they're also loopable, which is great. And then this is a module by Mutable Instruments, and it's a kind of utility module that allows you to take one signal, either audio, for example, the top 4 here, top 4 jacks, take one signal, audio or voltage or control voltage, and they can multiply it. So 1 input, 3 outputs, or 2 inputs, 2 outputs. So it's like it mixes the inputs and gives you 2 outputs. Or the last one takes 3 inputs and mixes them into 1 output. So it's kind of a utility module that allows you to combine different signals together in different ways. The next module is by Topobrillo, and it's a filter, a multi-mode filter with separate outs for low, bandpass, and high pass, and there's a notch output as well. The next module is by Make Noise, and it is it's a VCA with 2 inputs, and it's pretty crazy, and I'm still kind of learning it. And the last 2 modules kind of go together, and the first one is the Mix Mode by Steady State Fate, and it's a 4-channel mixer, and it can also be used not just for audio, but also for control signals, control voltages. And the last little module over here is an expander that just gives you control over the saturation settings and gives you more variety with the outputs. So, let me show you why I love this. With one oscillator, I can really get a lot of different sounds and timbres, more so than with a normal subtractive synth. Starting off here, you have different wave outputs. And let me show you what we have here. Okay. Also, I should mention that I have an analog 4, which is doing sequencing duties. And basically, I've left everything unpatched except for these gray cables, which carry basically pitch voltage and trigger voltage. So the pitch voltage is going to the oscillator to define the pitch, and these these voltage triggers are going to the trig inputs of the envelopes, so that they can trigger the envelopes, and then I can route that to other places. So let's start off very basically. Square waveform right here. Turn it up or down. Right now I haven't launched the sequence, so let's do that. Let me launch the sequence. So there we go. Right now the sequence is continuous because there's no envelope that's being routed anywhere. This is literally the output of the oscillator going straight to the mixer. So let's start making some sort of changes to that. While that's running, I'm going to set up an envelope to trigger the VCA right here, and then we're going to take another cable that will basically take the VCA out, and we're just going to take the we're going to swap this so that the VCA out goes into the mixer in, and then the waveform out goes into the VCA in. So there you go. Now that's envelope 1 over here. Envelope 1 is triggering the VCA. So as you can see, I can change the attack, I can change the decay. We'll leave it like that. Okay, so the next thing that we can do, and I love this, is that I can use the filter as a second oscillator. So let's listen to that. I'm going to send the high pass output to channel 2 of my mix mode mixer. There you go. So the filter self-oscillates, which is very handy. However, there's no control voltage that's telling it what pitch to play at. So we need to change that. So this links module, let me turn that down a little bit. This links module comes in very handy because I'm going to take the pitch CV and I'm going to put it here, and then it's going to duplicate it for me, so I can then send it back to the oscillator. But then I can also send a second copy to the filter so that it actually does something, right? Here we go. Now, the trick is that we now have to tune the filter. So I'm just going to do it by ear. I'm not really I'm just looking for something that sounds good. I'm not looking for a perfect tuning. That sounds nice. Sounds like an interval of some kind. Alright, so that's awesome. I already have something here, and then I can mix the two inputs. What I could even do is I could actually grab another waveform and then mix it in. So let's take a triangle wave, see what happens. Adding a little bit of low end, quite nice. Also, I can invert the signals. Actually, it was inverted. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Sometimes it does, mainly on like I think square waves, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so there we go. If we push the levels a little bit, we can also add a little bit of saturation. Dial that in thanks to the mix mode expander here. Very handy. All right. Now, right now I'm routing the filter, self-oscillating filter, which is producing a sine wave, into the mixer. So as I was saying, right now we have 3 sounds that are being mixed together. The square wave from the Z3000. the self-oscillating multi-filter producing a sine wave, and then the triangle wave again from the Z3000. I could take out the multi-filter output out of the mix. That's what we get. And actually what I might do is, I forgot about this, let me route the triangle output to the VCA, the Moddemics VCA, and we'll use another envelope to define that, you know, to just so that it just doesn't continuously run. So envelope 2 will do that. And then we'll take, let's see. All right. And then what we'll do is we will take the output from the second VCA in the Moddemics and put it back into the mix mode. We can hear that. We can change that. So basically each oscillator output now has independent envelope control for the VCA, which is awesome. I like that. It kind of gives it a nice undertone. All right, so, however, what I want to do is I want to take the self-oscillating filter and I want to use it to mess up my oscillator. And there's lots of options here. Starting with linear FM. Let's see what that does. I'm liking that. So at low settings it adds more harmonics, which I'm always good with. Then at higher settings it starts affecting the pitch. Remember that the filter is running at an interval from the oscillators. All right, let's try some more options. Pulse width modulation. Oh yeah, I'm good with that. So this output isn't super clean because I am adding some saturation with the mix mode, just for a little bit of flavor. So that's pulse width modulation right there. And that is hard sync modulation, I believe. That's just sync. Now let's see what happens when I put it into the wave shaper. And the wave shaper is generally, I believe, recommended for square and saw wave. I believe square wave actually sources. But this is very nice. Now, of course, I can change the envelope. So, for example, I could have the square wave be a very short have a very short kind of length. There we go. Let's see how that changes. Nice. FM2, second FM input. And metallic tones, very usable. So remember, I'm making this sound out of one oscillator, two envelopes out of the four, one filter, 2 VCAs. If this was like a normal analog subtractive synth, I mean, this would be a lot harder to set up, or I don't know, a lot less intuitive to set up. This is what I like ultimately about Modular, is that it invites experimentation, and everyone uses it very differently. You have people that have sequencing built in into the Modular. You have many different ways of approaching it, and I'm really using it in a pretty conventional way, I think, but it allows me to really extend the kinds of sounds that I get from the components that I have at my disposal. Kind of like subtractive synthesis, but exploded. So there you go. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this has given you some ideas and maybe a better understanding of what Modular has to offer. Thank you. Bye.